Hello YouTube. It is Ravenous, and today we are going to be making a essentially tutorial video kind of explaining the start of Dungeon Defenders 1, what you want to be doing, what the game's about, what the objective is, how to move forward and progress throughout the game. So, to give a brief synopsis of the game, the basic idea of the game is you are defending dungeons, you are defending crystal cores from mobs, from killing them for a certain specified number of waves. If you reach that set amount of waves, then you beat the map, and then you unlock newer and generally speaking harder maps. And there's a limited amount of campaign maps. Once you beat all the campaign maps, then you can do them on harder difficulties, etc., etc. So to beat the harder maps and the harder difficulties, you need better loot, you need better stats, you need better levels, and playing the game kind of just, you'll get there. But there's obviously optimized ways of doing that. So the first thing, in my opinion, on what you should do is you should think about what kind of playstyle you want to play. Obviously, if you're new, you don't really know what you want to do. So in my opinion, it's best to just kind of diversify. I like going through... I like this leprechaun skin because it is faster. So then I'll just do random until I find something I like, because I'm not very Merlin. I like that. I'm not very creative. And then obviously I got the birthday cake. You unlock different crystal skins and stuff like that, different character skins by playing the game, beating certain maps with certain difficulties, etc., etc. So I recommend just kind of going through and making a couple of characters that you think you might play. Like, I know Squire is pretty solid. Pirates are pretty fast. Squire to Athene, actually. What about Athena? I will say the Devil's pretty cool. He's my favorite because he's fast. He has speedy boy. That's pretty colors. I always just name my monk Aang. I just have to. It is a literal requirement. You have to name your monk Aang. In my opinion, the monk is a necessity for pretty much any time you're playing this game and you're trying to get going. You need a monk. Monks are good. Auras are like required. You stop your yapping, sir. Other than a monk, I think you need like an apprentice or a squire, something with actual physical towers. One of these two is good. Squire is pure physical, so if you don't want to have to worry about elemental resists, you can go to squire. I prefer the apprentice, but that's why I have both of them. Certain maps might be better for squire. Huntress is more of a DPS character. She's not all that great for trapping, particularly in the early game. Later on in the game, her traps become more usable, but early in the game, they're completely useless, in my opinion. She's more of a DPS character. Jester is what a Huntress is, but better. Jester is the DPS character. Summoner is a pure tower character, so instead of being pure DPS, it's pure towers. And in my opinion, they are required. I really wish they'd stop yapping. I don't, yeah, the only skin is a demoness and I don't have it, so. My freeze looks pretty sick. Nan. Banan. No. None other than that. They did add 2 new characters, but I don't actually know how to unlock them.
Solitary figure who roams the wilderness of Etheria, seeking enlightenment and wisdom. He has spent years studying the ancient tomes of magic and mastering the natural world's secrets.
I don't even have one for the gun witch. That's crazy.
The Hermit.
An introverted trainee in the arcane arts. A student of the mountain. Hailing from the wood elves' proud Etherian warrior.
Hailing from the dense jungle lands far to the south, assembled long ago by a master mechanic within the depths of Sky City.
It's interesting how all of them are different. EV 1.5 is more tanky and like better in that aspect, but it actually moves much slower. The Series EV is the best for speed, and I'll explain once we get into the, you know, the shits. Beat's pretty cool. I like that. Why speed matters on a character, particularly a building character. I think this is enough. Obviously, the simplest tier is going to be the apprentice, so that's who we're going to start out with. And then we'll obviously showcase that the game is kind of bopping right now. There's a lot of shit going on. A lot of people. But we're going to make a private match. I don't really want to deal with other players. That's just a whole complicated thing. Most maps allow for 4 players to be played on it. There are exceptions. There are certain maps that can have more than 4. I believe they specify. Don't actually remember which ones allow. This one supports up to 6. That one supports up to 8. This one supports up to 6, etc. That one supports up to 8. So like, there's plenty that support more. And these are all the maps. It's a lot of maps. You start out with just Deeper Well. Then these are extra maps. They're kind of like campaign maps, but not really. There's quite a bit of them. I haven't even played 80% of these, so it's going to be interesting if I decide to play them at some point. The recommended levels for certain maps tend to be a little inaccurate, but because it really just depends on what difficulty you're playing it on. And yeah, it does change per difficulty, but again, it depends on your stats, because like, if you have a full set of level 83 armor, I'm sure you can do Nightmare, like, on your builders. But we'll get more into that later. I would normally start off on easy, but I'd rather show hard instead, just to show that you can be considerably weaker than the difficulty you're trying to do. As long as you have decent strategy, you'll be fine, right? So you're fine for if it's your first map. Play on easy or play on medium. Medium, in my opinion, is the best starting play difficulty. I think easy is way too easy. I think you don't really require, like, you might fuck up and lose your first run on easy, but your second or third run, you're gonna get it, and something's gonna click, and you're gonna realize what you should have been doing, and then it's just gonna be too easy. Like, easy is way too fucking easy. Even hard for me is too easy, because like on this map, the way that the map is set up, it's objectively too easy. Like, it just is. So generally speaking, on any map, well, it's not generally, this is just how it works. There are lanes, right? Lanes are essentially what you call what the mobs walk down to get to the crystal. It's the designated path that they will always follow. So the mobs that spawn out of this door will either go left or they'll go right. I don't know why I did that backwards, but don't worry about it. So let's say they go right, they're going up these stairs, and they will always go this way. They will never go up these stairs because it's away from the crystal. So they will always take whatever is the shortest path to get to the crystal, essentially. So they'll go up these stairs, and that is why I'm building these at the top of the stairs. The reason you build these at the top of the stairs instead of at the base of the stairs, there's 2 main reasons. Reason number 1, if you put it here, there's less time between them spawning and them getting to the towers for you to do your own hero DPS. You can weaken them before they get to the towers, which can be very beneficial. And reason number 2, and this is probably the more important reason, is because orcs spawn out of these top doors. With these towers here, they will also shoot at those orcs, and orcs are the only thing that you can die to on this map, in my opinion. Orcs are a problem. I mean, if you play really silly, like, then I suppose you could also probably lose a run to an archer, but it's unlikely. Also, you will notice I picked hardcore. The reason for that, I believe hardcore gives extra XP. It's like 20 to 30%, something like that, from what I remember. And it gives a increase to the quality of your gear that drops from the chests and drops from mobs as well, but mostly chests. Mob drops rarely give good shit, especially this early in the game. 90% of your good loot is going to come from chests. So yeah, we got everything that we got. Every map has its own chest spawns. For this map, it's those 4 spots. So there's that. If you're ever confused about where mobs are spawning, which shouldn't be, because it tells you. But you can press and hold shift, like for bigger maps, of course. Press and hold shift, and it'll show you on the map. Those red semicircles slash partial circles, whatever you really want to call them. Those are the spawn gates. That's where they will spawn out of. It'll have an enemy banner with the list of the enemies that are spawning out of it, if enemies are going to spawn out of it. So this is the only one that has a banner. It's spawning 5 goblins and 1 archer. Loki, will you chill the fuck out, please? That's the second time you've just dashed for no reason. Take your zoomy ass and go to sleep. Speaking of zoomies, what time is it? 7:24. I should probably... Wait 1 second. I need to Google how long melatonin takes to... How long does melatonin take? I think it's like half an hour. 30 minutes to 2 hours. Okay, so... Let's hope it's on the shorter end of that. So we're going to start. The main strategy of the first wave is to kind of just let your towers do the work, honestly. The only problem child on the first wave is the archers, because the archer actually has more range than your towers do. I would say the other problem child is just the fact that your towers do shit damage. Like, they do 70. So what we're going to do is utilize my... Oh, not that. We're going to utilize my right click, my alternate fire, and you can use that to knock the enemy back. Very useful tech, in my opinion. Especially for the goblins, because they just kind of hoard up. Thankfully, the archer's stupid, and he will never actually attack if he keeps getting interrupted. The goblins kind of don't give a shit. Like, if they can hit you, they're gonna hit you. They don't stop attempting to attack. So same thing with orcs. Orcs, if they get close to you, they will swing and hit. Period. They will not stop just because of some damage. He was gonna get a little bit of damage on those, maybe? No, he didn't. Alright. One thing I did manage to gloss over, this is probably one of the most important details, especially if you're playing solo, but it's probably a little bit less applicative if you're not playing solo. But if you are playing solo, you need to make characters one type of character. They either need to be hero-oriented or they need to be tower-oriented. There are very rare situations where this isn't the case. Very rare. But I'm not even going to go over them because that's how rare they are. Okay? Oh, speaking of, shit. I'm not supposed to have all these things. These are... Listen, we're just gonna not use any mana to upgrade things. Because, yeah, I wasn't supposed to have those. Those are from, when I was playing different time. Different time. But yeah, you always want to focus one stat or the other, because if you're stuck splitting, your stats, that's kind of shit. That's pretty good, though. If you're stuck... Oh, wow. That's level 12, though. I'll find something better than that by the time I get there. In my opinion. Level 6, again. I'll probably find something better. Level 3. It's got tower stats on it. Yeah, that's already better. I'll pick that up. I'll hold on to it. That's... Oh, that's level 3. Damn. Okay. Fuck was I saying? Oh, you always want to, like, make sure you don't split up your stats. You split up your stats, that makes you overall weaker. It doesn't make you stronger, it makes you weaker. Because, like, you're always going to be at your strongest by putting all your points into one thing. You know what I mean? Because you get a limited amount of skill points to level up. To level up your, like, hero stats. Obviously, with armor, it's a little different, but even then... armor has a limited amount of things that can be on it, and especially earlier and mid-game gear, you're not gonna get like all 4 stats of both, like commonly. It's going to be... Ooh, that extra projectile makes me want to consider it, but I still think it's probably going to be worse. That's fine. So it's just in general better to just oversimplify. It's objectively just better to put all your eggs in one basket. In this context, it is the way to play. That is the way to do it. You really do want to put all your eggs in one. By the way, they definitely repatched this game, because they did not used to drop this many pieces of loot per chest. Like, I have to look at the patch notes, but like one of the patches 100% increased item quantity. Because it was never 4 items per chest. And like that's a consistent 4 too. I think that chest might have been the only one that didn't have 4. Like that's insane. Alright. I press G to ready up, but you can also go to the crystal and I think press E. Or if you have multiple people and you don't want to wait for all of them to ready up, you can press and hold control and then press G. That forces everyone to ready up. Of course, now we got our towers a little bit stronger. They got a little bit more range, and we have more of them. So I don't think any of these towers are going to take any damage, but could be wrong. No, I was definitely wrong. Yeah, I was not cooking with that statement. Not even a little bit. My fault, OG. Oh. Oh. I actually lose. Yeah, I lose. That's crazy. I got arrogant. Oh, that sucks. I mean, that's what happens when you don't play this game for a very long time. We'll obviously redo it, and I 100% win this time around because I'm not going to play stupid, and I'm not going to sit here and have to re-explain things. But yeah, that's what happens whenever you get a little arrogant with the strength of your towers. They were not doing anywhere near enough damage to do what it is I was trying to do. I needed more than 4. Because they don't one shot with 4 hits. They would one shot with 5 hits. So if I put down the 5th tower, all those goblins get 1 shot instead of taking 2 rounds of hits to die. So yeah, the build I had was not pristine. Probably would have been better instead of increasing range to just increase the damage twice, because that probably would have made it a 1 shot with 4, but I'm not sure on the math on that, because they're quite a bit over 400 health. Like, they're not 400 flat or anything. They're like 480 or something like that. It's fine, though. That's one of the things about this game is great, is you're going to make a lot of fucking mistakes. You're going to lose a lot of runs. It's going to be a lot of trial and error, and you learning, like, attack patterns that work, attack patterns that don't, the limitations of your towers and your stats. Like, so it's a big numbers game, where it's just like everything fucking matters. You might not think it matters, but it definitely matters. Like if I even had 2 more stat points in a tower attack, that was like a guaranteed round win. To be fair, I could have used my brain. I would have been completely fine had I used my brain, but I didn't, unfortunately. I'll slow his ass down. It's great. Okay. Definitely embarrassing that I like that, but that's fine. We've already moved past it. Moved past it. We've grown. We've grown stronger. I'm gonna speed things up a little bit. I do want to obviously look at these pieces though, make sure there's nothing like no dams hidden in the rough. It's level 8, which isn't that good for level 8. We'll go up here and do this real quick. So I think the strat I'm going to do is one side. I think I'm only going to have enough to do one side, where one side has 5 and the other side's going to have 4. If I just act as a 5th tower on that 4 side, I'll be fine. Like 100% I'll be fine. Now this doesn't really do anywhere near as much knockback on the orcs. So the whole knockback, keep them back strategy doesn't really work against the orcs. I mean, it still knocks them back and it does still work, but it's just not as effective as a strategy as it is on this, on these like these types of mobs. which is unfortunate because orcs are really the main problem. Obviously, I'm saying that, but I literally just died, so pretty much everything to me is the main problem, but... Fine. I'm probably going to get a decent power spike at level 3. I know I botched that other tower, which I'm probably going to go back and fix. I did not place it in a way that it would be effective for the orcs on waves 4 and 5. Also, one big, huge thing to consider. I'm just going to place it over here. One big, huge thing to consider. Does it hit there? I don't know that it does, but the problem is it really doesn't hit here. It'll hit right when they get to it, I guess. One big thing to remember is the more people you play with, the more mobs spawn. So that's obviously not a good thing. Because defense units don't get increased, minion units don't increase. Like, the only thing increasing is the mob's quantity. How many spawn. And how much XP you get. Because obviously more mob kills equals more XP. But I actually think you'd be a net negative for XP. Because you get more XP multipliers based on based on how quickly you won. I need to not get hit by a fire, especially. Oh, I just set up my towers to get fucked. That was a criminal decision. Get your ass over there, please. Why am I over here? I'm a moron. I knew where I needed to be, and I chose not to be there. God, I was on the 5 side for no reason. I need you to get back in that tower's range, please. I'd rather not kill you myself. That's gonna take way too long. Thankfully, we're getting a level up here, and that'll carry me through this way. But I think they might have actually made it more difficult. Maybe I just suck, bro. There's a good chance that I just suck. Like, there's a phenomenal chance of that. But I don't know. Something tells me that they changed things around a little bit with the stat scaling or something. Maybe it made him attack a little faster. I don't know. Because like it really seems like there's a huge difference in the difficulty. What is this? 23. I'm not going to equip it, but I'll look at it. I have a couple of options. So now there are a lot of archers, which means I probably could have been safe and increased my range by 1. Because I'm going to be building a lot of towers now. Like, there's going to be a fuck ton of towers, so tower quantity isn't going to be a problem anymore, which means damage isn't really going to be a problem. Which now, it's not really going to be a damage oh, that's every staff in the game. That's pretty good. Got tower stats on it. That's not bad for a level 6. I'll pick it up. I'll take a look at it and see if it's worth using. You can also see your towers on the map, so it's a good way to like know what you're working with and what areas need further defending. So always a good thing to consider. I did unlock the blockade, but in my opinion it's kind of worthless, so I don't really see the benefit in using a blockade. They don't have very much health. There's better options. Square walls are better. I think Countess makes walls too, what I remember. There's some tower health. There's some cast rate. That's always good. So whenever you improve tower health specifically, other tower stats obviously don't work like this. But when you improve tower health for whatever reason, whether you're upgrading the stat, Whether you're upgrading the stat for it, like in your hero tab, or if you're equipping a better piece of gear or upgrading that piece of gear, increasing tower health will always yield you. Your tower essentially will be missing health. So yeah, that's a thing. This is going to be interesting. Obviously that side's much stronger, so this is going to be the side that we're defending from now on. But what we'll do beforehand is we got some level 3 shit. We need to go through it and figure out what's best. So that one's obviously going to be the best stat that we got at level 3. And then we got this, which will increase my damage a little bit. And we would naturally have a little bit of mana, so we can spend a little bit. I think I had like 5k before I did everything. Or no, I think, I don't know, like 7. I'll spend like 1,000. Of course we're going to do that. That's great. I mean, obviously, a tower stat's always good, but I don't think it's going to really help me that much. That'll be good. I'll do this one more time, and that'll be it. I could obviously spend the rest of my mana and make this extremely easy, but then, you know, wouldn't really be fair. So, we'll move on. I don't think there's any chance at all, because I do 111 now. 5 times 111 is 555, and then, was it 7? So it's 777. They don't even have 500 health, so goblins are going to insta-die. It's just a matter of the archers. Like, what are the archers going to do? The main thing is I need to not accidentally, like, make an archer target me. Because when the archers target you, it becomes a problem. I need to make sure they can't kill my towers, so thankfully I am a tower, so I do a lot of damage. Alright, there are going to be orcs up here, and the orcs are, they have, I think, 2,200 health on this difficulty, which essentially means I'm actually going to, ooh, no thanks. I'm going to have to use some walls. Because if I don't use walls, they will kill my shit. Double level up is always appreciated. Obviously, increase damage by 1. Damage is the most important stat on a tower mage. But we're actually going to increase range twice, and then rate. The reason I want to increase range so much is I need the towers to be able to hit far enough that I can put the walls back far. Because I don't want to have to put the wall here, because then the orc will still hit these towers. I could put the wall like maybe here-ish. I don't think he still hits the tower. So same thing over here. I'd like to be able to put it like a decent enough distance away to where I don't think he'll be able to really hit the towers. So interesting. A double level up was not expected. Obviously very appreciated. Ooh. Yeah, tower damage is better on a mage. Sucks that I'm getting rid of another tower stat to get that tower stat, but it has to be done. So, you know. I did what you gotta do. Don't really have very much defense units left. We are not looking good on that area, but that's okay. We can build quite a few more towers still. We're obviously going to build over here another one. And then we'll build another one over here. We're actually not going to adopt that strategy of these, because no. That orc does actually spawn down here as well next wave, but the first wave it doesn't. So we're doing okay. I don't have any mana. It's okay, there's some chests down here. And now all I can really do to strengthen this build is upgrade. You can upgrade towers in this game by using 100 mana, 200 mana, I believe 400 mana, 700 mana, and 1200 mana. Those are the margins, or not margins, but like the points where you can upgrade. So and they're obviously like level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 respectively. Which side do I feel like is more safe? It's neither side. Oh, and I can't do it anyways because I just spent my DU on that. Alright, well, we'll just spend the extra DU over here. I want to be extra safe and guarantee that he can't get through on this side, and then we'll just, in turn for that, we can just put this over here. I'll put it as far up as I can. Alright, that's all we got for defense units. So we'll see how we handle the orcs. There's a chance that this is harder than I remember. I know I'm remembering their health very well. I played this game for so many fucking hours. So 2204. I was gonna say 2202, so they're a tiny bit more than I remembered, but being off by 2 numbers isn't really that big of a deal in my opinion. So the strat with them is really just try to nail them with as much damage as possible before they get here. Then you can, of course, knock them back, but yeah, you just kind of want to just nail them with as much damage before they get to your walls. And here, of course, there's just way too much happening. Alright, so yeah, we are in an interesting situation. I mean, I do think we're strong enough. It's just a matter of my tower. Do my towers survive? Because if my towers stay, then I win, of course, no question. But will they stay? I know you can repair, obviously, but I think that upgrading is better. You look at the stats. Upgrading increases the damage by 40, increases the attack rate by 0.3 seconds, and then increases the range by almost an entire, like, whole number. So, obviously upgrading it improves the stats on it, which improving the stats on it is very crucial in this situation. Another double level up actually makes this very doable. Makes this very fucking doable. I think the strat here is going to be obviously just overload on damage, but we will increase the range by 1. We'll go 3 damage and 2 rate. We want to kill things in as few hits as possible. That is really going to be the strategy here. We just want to kill things in as few hits as possible. Now, I wouldn't normally do this, but I feel like these towers don't have enough range for them to be significant. And I believe it's a... yeah, it's a benefit. Beneficial. I want to just sell this one too, honestly. Yeah, I just don't think it does enough. Let me just do the fireball here. And then over here, we just sell 1. And then that's enough for a fireball. And then this one has 2 walls, so we can actually just double fireball here. Other than the fact that we don't have mana. I know I obviously have enough mana, but it's a matter of importance. Started at 30 something damage. What about the level 6 that I had? Are none of these the level 6? Wow. I guess either I didn't have a level 6 or it's just worse. 'Cause yeah, none of those are better. None of that gear's better as well. I'm just gonna unlock all and then hold on to this. Hold on to this. Sell all. We got 2,000 to play with there. Of course, we're gonna pump it straight into this. Oh, and we also auto sold earlier, so we'll say we made another 2,000 or so. I do believe that's pretty fair to say. Is it C? No, so it's Z. Okay. I have special keybinds. Alright, that's good. It's now just a matter of, again, will my tower survive? Also, will these top will these top things be fire resistant? Which those aren't, so I'm gonna leave them be. Those aren't either, so we're good. I don't care about those tires or the towers if they get destroyed. Alright, that's good. Yeah, see, we're chilling. Once you get a decent enough build coming in, there's really just nothing that'll kill you. Like, you're just fine. It's a bit of a longer video than I meant to make, but it's whatever. You can also always make them. Will you get your stupid ass over here? Alright. Level up is available. Okay. So, to summarize, just based on the obviously this first map, your main strategy is obviously going to want to be maxing out the amount of defense units that you're spending, and in the long term, it'll be beneficial for you to have a summoner as well that's pretty close to your main character's level, or your party's level, if you want to call it that. You want to have them similarly leveled, right? Like, actually, does this Redux have... No, it doesn't. Okay. Since it's not Redux. Redux allows you to actually add in characters, which is why I kind of prefer Redux over the OG. Like, I can see why people prefer OG, but Redux is just objectively better. It just is. It just is. I want to like the OG because it's got like new stuff coming out and stuff like that, but OG is just better. It just is. Or sorry, Redux is just better. It just is. No frame cap. You can add in characters. Every character gets an additional tower, or at least every main character. So 2 more levels. We will not add defense health actually, because I remember one of my pieces is going to give defense health. We'll kind of split it up evenly-ish. We don't really need range that much though, so we're gonna go there, and then we're gonna go 2 and 3. You know, and do 1 and 4, since we have a piece that's increasing my tower damage. Power rate's obviously extremely important. One of the more important stats. As you can see up there, those are my credentials, proving that, you know, that's not a very good credential. That's not very good either. Are there no... That's the wrong button. Are there no... okay, there's some ultimate stuff up there. Just kind of proving that, you know, I have a bit of knowledge. I know what I'm talking about a little bit. You know, there's all my fishies and stuff. Fire skeleton on a motherfucking treadmill, forever walking the plank. You know, good loot. I feel like... I used to name these things John because a YouTuber I used to watch. So, and then we have... Where's... Yeah, that's where all my mana is. And boy, do I have a lot of it. 50 billion. Another 50 billion. And at 220. So I probably have about 400 billion, give or take, total. So yeah, those are kind of my credentials, just kind of showcasing. And then obviously you can see my hours right here. Almost 400. If we're including console as well as alt accounts, as well as I used to play this game on cracked. I played it up to I think level 90 on a cracked account because I couldn't afford the game at the time. I probably have close to 2,000 or 3,000 hours if I had to guess, maybe 4,000, but that's pushing it a little bit. Problem is a lot, like a majority of my time is on console, and so I don't know how much time that really was. There's no way to measure it because PS3 didn't measure time played, I don't believe. And that's where most of my hours were. I also had played a decent amount. Like I made it to 74 a bunch of times on Xbox 360 as well. 74 doesn't sound impressive for PC players, but that's because on console For a while, 74 was actually the max level. It was that way on PC as well, but it was that way longer on console because console was just way later to getting the updates. And I think to this day, console, if you play it locally, because I think that's the only way you can play it now. I think to this day, 70 or 74 is still, I think, maybe the level cap, or maybe it's 78. It might be 90. It might be 90. I might be tweaking. I don't know. I know in PC it's 100. It is 100. It went from, I believe, 60 was the first level cap, and then they kind of just kept increasing it from there. It was either 60 or 70. I don't remember. But then they went from 70 to 74 to 78 to 83, and that's kind of just how the different levels of gear work as well. There's the Godly at 60, Mythical at 74, Transcendent at 78, Supreme at 83. I think there might be a Supreme Plus that's 85. I'm not 100% sure. Ultimate's 90. Ultimate Plus is, I think, 93. And then Ultimate Plus Plus is 100. So, different levels of gear for different shit. Also, one major thing, and this will be the last thing I think I say other than just like the epilogue closing notes of the video. When you beat a map, when you beat it to completion, not lose and then quit, beat it, you get pets, weapon, and armor. You get 3 of each, unless you have something locked, and then you'll only get, there's 3 slots here minus the 1 because it's locked. You'll get these 2 re-rolled when you beat a map, right? So even if you don't buy any of these, they will re-roll. So you don't have to buy them to open up the slot. The slot will get refilled regardless. And sometimes they'll have some interesting stats like this one. Like this would be great for a waller, I guess. If you're using like a squire or something for walls, or a countess. That's basically it. I mean, I guess if you use a series EV for a waller as well. But yeah, other than that, it's like almost completely useless. But yeah, I didn't actually get back to what I was saying earlier, and this will be part of the epilogue. One of the main things that matters in this game is how quickly you can build things and get prepared for combat, because on Insane, we'll go in here to show you, on Insane, you have a limited build timer. It depends on the map. Bigger maps generally have longer timers. I think it's usually correlated to the amount of crystals you're defending, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. It could just be more of like a correlation thing rather than a causation thing. Like bigger maps just tend to also have more cores. But yeah, you get a limited amount of time to build. Also on Insane, your building speed drastically slows down. I don't know if you were paying attention to how fast I built before. It was not this fast. It was much faster. I believe it changes your build speed to whatever your build speed is in combat. Because again, if you didn't notice, you build slower in combat. I believe Insane and everything up above that, it increases your build speed to, or decreases it rather, to whatever your build speed is during the wave. I actually think Nightmare takes out the limited timer, unless I'm tweaking. I could be tweaking. Yeah, I'm tweaking. Okay. I thought maybe it did, but yeah, I was tweaking. Anyways, so main point of the game. You collect mana. This is the mana crystal right here, or the mana currency right here. You can see right here, banked mana. Items have a mana value. That's like the item power, kind of, not really. It's more of just the evaluation of the item, how much it's worth. Better shit is generally going to be worth more. If you level something up like this, for instance, it's going to be worth more. Notice how the most expensive piece here is the one that I have the most levels into. Even though this one is like the exact fucking same. Like this one just has a little bit of fire resistance. So yeah, you collect mana. Mana will help you level up your shit. And you just get better shit until you have really good gear, and then you could do like a difficult map, like say Dread Dungeon on fucking like Ruthless or some shit. Which, by the way, recommended level 74 is completely wrong. Completely wrong. Like, I would not recommend level 74 for this shit. Pirate Invasion, level 100. That's fine. Yeah, that's yeah. This is a difficult map. This is one of the hardest maps in the game. It's also a map that you can actually glitch. If you start it, I think the chests still spawn gear or something. I don't know. I don't really remember. There was like a way to. It's not really a glitch, more of like a unintended game design thing. Regardless, yeah, there's a lot of maps and they get harder and harder as they go, generally speaking. But as you can see, this one had 60. Let's go to, say, Ramparts. And Ramparts is going to have, don't tell me. Is it 90? I think it's 90. Ah, it's 110. Okay. I was thinking 110, 120-ish, but I was like, I feel like it's only 2 digits. So as you can see, this map has 2 crystals. It is this one, and it has, 3 crystals. And it has these 2. I count this as 1 crystal because they're in the same place. So you're defending from the exact same lanes. Which, by the way, these really only defend from this lane. The mobs that come from over there and over here don't tend to go down these stairs. Just because this crystal's closer. I think they can. They have before, but it's not very common. Also, higher tier maps tend to drop more, or higher difficulty maps tend to drop more mana out of chests. These are 50 mana crystals. So yeah, since it's obviously a more difficult map, you have more lanes to cover, you're going to get more mana on your starting wave. So you have enough to be able to build through all the lanes. So there are, I think, 4 lanes that you need to defend from. If you include wyverns, 5 actually, so never mind. You have this lane right here. So I like building right here. This is where I like building. It's a nice choke point. I don't want to build all the way back here because they can technically go this way and go around. And I don't want to even risk that. So I always just put them here. I keep them in a fine line choke point. Because I like stuff like lightning towers and fireballs here. I do this because this is actually 2 lanes merging into 1. It's that lane going this way and then that lane going this way. And that lane also is technically 2 into 1 because this one also contributes to that one, but not always. This is a lane because wyverns come out from up here. So you want to obviously put these towers up here to deal with them. You could also just guard the crystals themselves, but then they get close to the crystal and I don't want that. That's risky. Same thing here. Wyverns come out from these little things. So you can either put them all the way over here, but that can be kind of risky. I usually will put them here instead. I'll put them like right here, one right here, and then one like right here. And then probably one right here as well. Especially depending on like how much health the wyverns have and how much damage my towers do. So yeah, it just depends. And then there's one more lane here. And I would defend it by doing this. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for this map, just as an example. Higher level maps obviously have more lanes and they're more complex and a lot of things overlap and there's special mob types, there's spiders, there's degens, there's kobolds, there's fucking sharkins. It's like there's a lot. There's a lot of mobs in the game, and so your strategy is obviously going to be taking all these things into account. So yeah. I'm obviously going to be posting more, potentially. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty confident I'm going to post more about individual characters, just because every character's got its own playstyle, every character's got its own unique traits, it's got its own unique skills. So I do always recommend, again, if you're playing solo, diversify. Have a character of almost every type. Have like one of each character. And it's good to have overlap. Like, Apprentice is a good DPS character. You can make an Apprentice that's DPS and one that's tower. Like, you don't need to only have one or the other. Like, you can do both. Monk's not horrible for DPS. He's pretty good because he's got a buff aura that buffs him, so he's great to have. Obviously, Jester's good. And they don't also, like, you can make 2 of the same type and it not be a different like kind. Like, you can make 2 tower apprentices, make one of them for like damage and range, and then make the other one for like range and rate. For apprentice, I don't think that's all that helpful, but for series Eevee, for instance, Eevee's good for the walls and buff beams. But they can also be good for like their buff beams and like shock towers and shit. And there's certain stats that might benefit from those stats, whereas others might not might like benefit from different shit. You know what I mean? So it's just like different shit works for different situations. And yeah, a lot of the fun from this game comes from you just trial and error, trying different things, trying new things, seeing what works. So yeah. Hope I convinced you to give the game a fair try. To anybody watching this video, this is definitely one of my favorites, one of the classics. I've fucking played this game growing up for so long. Like, seriously, man. I used to play this shit so much. PS3, that alone should tell you how long ago I used to play this shit, and like I still play it today. Like, I haven't played it recently because I just kind of had a falling out with it where I just wasn't really into it. Trying to get my boyfriend into it, but if I can't, I'm still probably going to play it on my own time. So, I mean, worst case scenario, they're not into it. That gives me a game to play on my own time when we're not playing something together. So, but I genuinely do believe it's a great game. It's obviously not flawless. No game's flawless, but I really can't think of any major flaws that makes me not want to play it. Like, most of the things can be just, like, like docked as user error or whatever, or you just not knowing something, which isn't really the game's fault. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for clicking on it, watching it to its entirety. If you made it all the way here and you can hear what I'm saying right now, I want you to type the word pizza in the comments. If you type the word pizza, I'll order you a pizza. I'm joking, I'm not going to order you a pizza, but I will show you my cat. Hey Loki. Oh, you napping. I'm sorry, buddy. Oh, yeah. Alright, anyways, thank you guys for coming to the video. Goodbye.